everybody, Lindsay here, and this is Aldo, and this is our review for Dead of Winter and Bone Lake. Both of these are movies that I saw at the AMC Screen Unseen or Unseen Screen. I still don't know what the fuck they call it, but it's a combination of one of those two. The first one I saw was Dead of Winter, and it stars Emma Thompson and Judy Greer. The basic storyline is Emma Thompson is like a, I think it's northern Minnesota, and she's just kind of a gosh shucks kind of gal, you know, living out in the wilderness, going ice fishing, runs a bait shop in the middle of nowhere, and she's going even further into the middle of nowhere to dump her husband's ashes. Her husband recently passed away. They were together since they were teenagers. And she runs into, out there, a kidnapping plot.
Try that again, you're dead.
And she's the kind of gal, she's not gonna just ignore this. She has to do something. I'd seen a preview for this at a previous AMC Unscreen thing, and I was like, oh, that looks really interesting. That looks like something different, especially with Emma Thompson, like doing action movie stuff. So I was very excited when that was the movie that popped up on the screen. And as far as action movies go, it was very different because she's like this 70-year-old woman, and she's trying to go up against people with guns that are much, much younger and that mean to do her and others harm. So she's trying to think on her feet, be resourceful, improvise with what she has available to her to come out of this situation alive. And Judy Greer, I loved her in this. She plays a woman who is ill. Her and her husband have kidnapped a girl, and she's sucking on fentanyl lollipops through the whole thing, and she's ordering her husband around. So really, this is a female-driven action movie, which I really enjoyed. And it was two female characters that are not like the typical action movie archetype. You have a 70-year-old woman who lives alone out in the woods, and then you have a middle-aged woman who's very sick and high on fentanyl all the time. Going toe-to-toe, right, Aldo? He doesn't care. So there would be situations that would pop up where they're trying to fight over a gun or chase each other, but they both have these limitations that are also also their strengths at the same time. Because you have Emma Thompson, she's 70 years old, she lives in the mountains, in the woods, so she's very resourceful, she does not give up, she does what she has to do, and she just guts through it and gets it done. And then you have Judy Greer's character. She's fucking high on fentanyl through the whole thing. So when she gets injured, she doesn't really feel it, and it doesn't really affect her. So that's just, I love that combination together. And there are times in this movie, because you have, again, a 70-year-old woman and then this sick fentanyl-addicted woman, like trying to grab a gun or chasing each other or whatever. And it's like when you want to like jump in a game or something and you like move your body to try to, it's like you're trying to move one of them to try to force them to do what they need to do to survive. It can get a little frustrating in some of those fight scenes because you're just like, because either one of them are very used to what they're doing or very capable physically to do what they're doing, but god damn it, they get it done. What really sets this movie apart is that it's couched in a love story, a very sweet, wholesome, refreshing love story between Emma Thompson and her late husband. You get these little flashback moments to their first date, when they get married, when they're moving, a tragedy that happens during their relationship, and then the when he ultimately passes away. And it's very sweet. And there's things from their relationship that tie into the ways that she gets out of certain jams and stuff. She's very smart. Like, even though she doesn't have the strength or wherewithal of a typical action hero, she's got it up here, and she does everything she can to get out of this situation and to help the person that has been kidnapped. And even on top of that, all that I've just described, in this movie is like in crazy straight-to-video genre B-movie plot with this kidnapping thing going on. I won't spoil what it is, but it's pretty fucking wild, and it has to do with ice fishing. And there's very funny moments too in this. It is by no means a perfect film, but I found it very enjoyable because I didn't know that I needed to see Emma Thompson sewing up her own bullet wound. But I'm glad that I now have that. Yes, I'm glad.
Hello?
So if you catch this one, it's a really fun movie to catch like on a Saturday afternoon. I had a great time watching it. The people that were also in the theater had a great time. They were laughing. There's some very, very funny moments, when especially when it comes to Judy Greer and her husband and their dynamic. Some very awkward and human moments. And no, it was a very interesting take on action movie and something that I hadn't seen before, at least not in a while. So I would recommend it. Again, it's not a perfect movie. It has some issues. There's some pacing issues. Sometimes Emma Watson. Sometimes Emma Thompson's performance, because it is such a genuine, honest, wholesome, all shucky darn kind of character, and these people do exist, trust me, I know many of them. Just a very genuine, loving person that has all this good inside of them, and that can be a little awkward to see up on the screen, but I really enjoyed it, and it was very refreshing. So if you have a chance to see Dead of Winter, or when it comes on streaming, check it out. It's fun. It is. It's only like an hour and a half, but it's a fun time, something different. I think you'll enjoy it.
Why are you doing this?
Now let's move on to Bone Lake. Bone Lake, yes, I just saw this Monday at the Screen Unseen screen thing. I had seen many previews for this. It just kind of looked like a generic horror movie. It looked like a lot of things I'd seen before, but I was pleasantly surprised when that's what started playing on screen on Monday. I don't know any of the actors in it. One of the guys looked kind of familiar, but I don't know who he was. They all did a great job acting and performance-wise. The basic storyline is we follow this couple, boyfriend and girlfriend. The boyfriend has just quit his community college teaching job to finally write his novel, his great American novel. And the girlfriend took a different job across the country to financially support them while he does that. So they're in the process of driving to their new home. And they're stopping along little places along the way to kind of have this final vacation before they, really hit it hard. And they rented out this grand estate at Bone Lake, like a private lake, and it's this huge fucking house. I don't know how much this fucking place costs, but it had to have been a few thousand a night. If you go look on Airbnb, they have those giant estates that you can rent, and they're like $3,000 to $4,000 a night. It was that kind of place. And they get there and they unpack, and all of a sudden, another couple shows up. And there was some kind of mix-up, and so they both have booked this grand estate for the weekend. And they're like, oh, should we leave or should you leave? And they finally decide, well, let's just sleep on it. We'll spend this time together and kind of figure it out as we go and try to stay out of each other's hair. Let's just see what happens. And you can already kind of tell how this kind of plot is going to progress, There's games, mind games. Are these people who they say they are? And our main protagonist couple is having some issues. like they always are. And this is a little tangent I'm gonna go on right here in the middle of this review. It's not a rant or a tangent, it's just something that I've noticed lately, especially when it comes to horror. And I understand basic storytelling, you know, you have to have conflict, otherwise it's boring. There needs to be conflict. The problem is it seems like every fucking couple, whether they're married, wherever they are in their relationship, they're having issues. And that's normal, but every single time, especially lately, the issue is that they don't fucking talk to one another. Like, the communication is in the toilet, and that's where all their problems come from. And I'm getting sick of seeing that, because it's the same every time. It's like, she's not telling him that he can't make her orgasm, and he's not telling her that he's insecure about such and such behavior. And if they would just fucking talk to one another, they could probably figure it out. But no, it takes this horror movie scenario for them to figure out how to communicate with each other. and that's how this movie and Dead of Winter are very kind of juxtaposed with this dichotomy of relationships, because in Dead of Winter you have this very loving and supportive relationship between Emma Thompson and her late husband. You get to see that, and I loved that. And in this one, it's this couple who just are afraid to fucking tell one another or talk to one another. And so that creates problems and friction. And I'm kind of sick of seeing that. I want to see a couple that is in love and like each other and talk to each other like two healthy adult human beings. But they stumble into this horrific scenario. But the main driving force of them getting through that scenario is not, oh my gosh, we can finally come together as a couple. It's, oh, we're a couple that talks to one another and works together, and that's how we survive this thing. I don't know. It's just, it's a trope that I'm getting tired of seeing, especially in horror movies, that there's this couple that they just don't talk to one another, and that's their big issue. When if they would just sit down and say, this is the problem I'm having, and the other person says, well, this is the problem I'm having, and they just hash it out. Like, it was that same with that Together movie with Alison Brie and James Franco. I'm like, if you two would just fucking speak to one another, then you could avoid all these problems, and then maybe you won't end up, you know, in a cave melding together. But back to Bone Lake. That was just my little 2 cents, a thought that I had after seeing these two movies. But back to Bone Lake. Aldo's ready to go back to Bone Lake. I saw a lot of stuff that I'd seen in other movies in Bone Lake. It's like, it's a little bit of funny games, it's a little bit of don't speak, and just a soupçon, a soupçon of people under the stairs. There are no people under the stairs, but there's some other things from people under the stairs. So this movie had no surprises for me. There were a couple surprises when it comes to some of the gore. Like, in the first 5 minutes, there's some crazy fucking gore in this movie. You're just like, oh, shit. That's one way to open a movie. And I liked some of the mind games that the one couple was playing on the other. But again, it was just very predictable for me. I'm like, I've seen this play out many, many times over other horror movies. But it was fun to watch. The 4 people in it are good at what they're doing. It's got a little extra layer of twist that I didn't 100% see coming, but it didn't blow me away or anything like that. It just didn't really leave an impact on me. It was just kind of, okay. And then I left the theater. But it's got blood and gore and sex and tits and ass and all that kind of stuff. So if that's I mean, usually I love that kind of stuff. It's just this one was very predictable and held no surprises for me. So even though I did enjoy it, it's very entertaining, it's probably not one that I would revisit again or sing its praises to you. So I'm not telling you not to go see it. I'm just saying if you go see it, it's not gonna be anything new. But that is gonna do it for this little review. So until next time, this is Lindsay and Aldo signing off. We'll check you later.